And thanks so much for tuning to the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth. We are continuing on in the book of Luke. But before we get into the book of Luke, chapter 7, I want us to go into the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 1. You'll understand when we get into Luke chapter 7 why I'm going to talk about this. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1 says this: "Now faith is the confidence of what we hope for and the assurance about what we do not see." I want you to think about your faith, your personal faith meter. Where is that at today? Whether it's this morning, this afternoon, or evening, or whatever time you're watching this, where is your faith? I'm going to read that one more time. This is the definition of faith here. Now, faith is confidence in what we hope for and the assurance about what we do not see. Have you allowed your circumstances to affect your faith? Have you allowed maybe what you feel an unanswered prayer is to affect your faith? Have you allowed whatever, your financial state or your relationship status or whatever your job title is affect your faith, affect your relationship with God? Where is your faith meter at? Do you have that confidence? Do you have that assurance? Now let's go to Luke chapter 7, because we're talking about faith today. We're talking about a man, the Centurion man, a soldier, a man who has leadership, who has authority, who has influence, who has people under him, and one of his servants is sick. And he had compassion and empathy on his servant, so much so that he actually sends some other people, his friends, over to Jesus and says, "Hey, I've got this servant here who is sick, and I'm confident and know that if you just say the word, that servant will be healed." And so much is in Luke chapter 7, but I just want to read just a couple of verses here, and I want to encourage you to dive into this. But I want us to be challenged by this man's faith. I want us to be encouraged and inspired by this man's empathy and compassion to his servant, because of his position and because of who he was, and he had people under him and he had servants under him, he had the right to even kill this servant, and no ramifications would happen. There would be no implications or negative consequences for his actions because of his position, because of the servant, and because that servant was sick. That person, that leader, that centurion could have killed this servant, and he doesn't. He shows compassion for this servant. Where is our compassion meter at with other people? Listen to Luke chapter 7, starting in verse 6. "So Jesus went with them." So the centurion sends a message to Jesus, and Jesus actually goes to the house. "He was not far from the house when the centurion sent his friend, saying to him, 'Lord, don't trouble yourself, for I do not deserve to have you come under my roof. That is why I did not even consider myself worthy to come to you. But say the word, and my servant will be healed.'" I mean, what humility this man had on top of the compassion, on top of the faith. He said, I'm not worthy of it, but I am confident, and I have that faith that if you say that word, this servant will be healed. Verse 8, "For I myself," now he's sharing about, who he is. Now, verse 8, "I myself am a man under authority with soldiers under me. I tell this one to go, and he goes, and that one to come, and he comes. And I say to my servant, do this, and he does it." So he's saying that he has the authority, but he doesn't have the authority to heal. He doesn't have that power, but he has the respect and the faith and the knowledge to go to the one who does, and that's Jesus. And this is how Jesus responds to this man's faith. Verse 9, "When Jesus heard this, he was amazed at him, and turning to the crowd following him, he said, 'I tell you, I have not found such great faith, even in Israel.' So then the men who were with Jesus went back to the house, and what did they find? They find the servant healed. They find the servant well." So Jesus does have the power, does have the authority. It's not limited by what this earth says, or what limited knowledge that we have, limited resources that we have. Jesus is limitless. This man's faith showed it. This man's faith said, I'm confident. You say the word and it will be done. Where is our faith today? May we increase our faith, not because of an answered prayer or because we feel like, Jesus answered it in a certain way. No, let's increase our faith knowing who Jesus is. Remember Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Having that assurance of what we hope for and the confidence of what we do not see. Let's increase our confidence. Let's have the assurance that Jesus has the power, has the authority to heal today. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you tune tomorrow for the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth.